is my daughter and generation born are not stuck with trying to address the issue of the debt. And I don't see that happening this moment, but I believe that something constructively can be done to at least mitigate. I can't tell you what it is, but I do believe that there is a solution somewhere lurking. And I'm sorry, I can't. It's rare that at the end of the day, all I have is an opinion. There's probably a professor here who also has an opinion, and he or she, their opinion may be more based on economic trends, and it may come to fruition. But what I do believe is, at this particular point, our crisis is so severe that we have to continue. We're in the middle of a storm. And it's almost like people are saying on some news stations, well, you know, Haiti has a lot of corruption, you know, we're going to help them, and then, you know, a year from now they're going to be in the same shape. That's not, you don't address, I'm not suggesting your question should be addressed, but in the crisis, you've got to continue to do all you can to assist in the crisis, get beyond the crisis, and as you're getting beyond the crisis, you got to put some strategic plan together to focus on addressing what you're talking about.
How you doing?
Fine, how are you doing?
Doing well. I really appreciate you guys. It's been really awesome. I thank you so much. I was wondering, for those of us who are peace lovers or who really embrace nonviolence, are there any authors out there, any people sort of taking up the cause in a bigger way that you would recommend specifically?
You know, I think on every continent you have various authors of different faiths who exemplify, you know, obviously we know people like the Dalai Lama, who, when you're in their presence, even though we're not of that faith, you've got to be impacted by that spirit. I mean, there's a host of people, Archbishop Tutu. If you've ever been in his presence, you know that there's something special there. I went to see Invictus. I'm just sharing this because it reiterated for me why my greatest person that I believe living as a hero for me is Nelson Mandela. And I qualify that by saying living because 27 years of going to jail, there really was no reason, and yet being able to come out and forgive and provide an example for his countrymen. If you have not seen that movie with Morgan Freeman and Matt Damon, I would recommend seeing that because it teaches you how to appreciate one who understands something that's far bigger than their own personal emotional value system. And that is the value system. I mean, to be put in jail by a white racist system and to come out of that system and say, look, you know, we're the majority, but we don't have to recognize you. No, you are a part of this government also, meaning the white minority. And we must represent all, and we're not going to mistreat you just because you mistreated us. I mean, that's love. And, you know, we need a lot of that. We need some more of that in the United States. So I would, you know, I mentioned some of those. There are a ton of folks out there in the world that we need to embrace more. I would finally encourage, and I don't know if you've read all of, my father authored 6 books. And I would even go as far, now some of them were out of print, they're back in print. But I would encourage you to read them as well, in his own voice, because he authored those 6 books. And the King Center, you can go to thekingcenter.org, and all of them are there. Yes?
Hi, how's it going? Could you tell me your thoughts on the statement that the contemporary struggle for gay rights is mirroring the Black civil rights movement of the 1960s, fighting for equality and the end of prejudice, the same principles that your father was fighting for?
I have two thoughts on that. I think earlier I was asked that by a media person somewhere at a press conference. And I certainly believe there are parallels as it relates to the struggles that the gay and lesbian community are embarking upon, as well as the struggles that the traditional civil rights community, African American community, and others have gone through and still are going through. Now, what I mean by that is, I don't think that, first of all, let me state this. I think that if I was elected, I might have to have a different position. What I mean by that, I'd have to have a position on the issue. So I'm on the issue who somebody loves and who somebody wants to be with. I really could care. I mean, I care as long as a person is happy and not doing harm to themselves or anyone else. I don't think we can get in the way of who people love. I made a choice for myself, and my wife and I are married and have a daughter. And I think, everyone ought to have the right to be able to be whatever they call happiness for them. So whatever we need to do to get there, because of my programming, because we all program to some degree, it's been harder to get around calling that concept marriage when we historically have been told that the traditional marriage is a man and a woman. And that's how a lot of us were raised. However, we find that in our society there's something different. And I think those of us who are in the human rights community, you can't say, well, we want all these rights. And I'm adamantly against a constitutional amendment to restrict people from doing things, because amendments have been added to the Constitution historically to expand, not to restrict. And so I would be against that. But I also, I really don't think it's my personal business. If I was elected, that's what I said, I would have to make a decision. But I don't think it's my business as to who somebody is going to be with. I think that people have to make their decisions and live with what makes them happy. And we have to, as a society, accept that, even if somebody may agree or disagree. But that's really the beauty of America, that we have this diversity. And I think that we will have some more discussion about these issues. And ultimately, people in the gay and lesbian community will be able to receive what is called wholeness. Now, I don't know if that's civil unions, I don't know if that's marriage, I don't know what that becomes, but we certainly should not discriminate against anyone at all for their sexual orientation.
Hello.
Hi.
I attend Southside High School in Fort Worth, Arkansas, and our mascot is the Rebel Confederacy type thing. And my question to you is, the school is mostly white, and there are a few blacks there, and those of us that are there, most of them represent themselves in the typical, stereotypical African-American way, the sagging pants and all that. What can I do personally, and what can everyone do to show them to represent themselves better, to represent all of us better, to change that mindset back in Fort Smith?
That's a good question.